What's up, y'all? George here. Let's get talking about the Spiegel 100 list. I got behind the paywall. I was talking about this on the stream, and I wanted to talk about it, so we're going to do it here. This list might be a little bit more obscure for folks who aren't avid readers in German, but that's okay. A lot of the stuff is translated. So don't worry, we're gonna dig in lots of great stuff here. And I didn't know a lot on the list. I spent a lot of time with it over the last 24, and there's a lot that's new to me. So I'm gonna talk about what I have experienced, the authors that I have experienced, and the specific novels that are listed that I have. There's some novels that are near misses that I have a novel from that author, but have not, don't have a copy or haven't read the item that's listed by Der Spiegel. And then I have a list of seven that I learned about from the list that I'm super interested in. I'll speak a little bit in German today, but don't worry, it's be mostly in English, so you'll understand it. And as I suspected, I mentioned this on the stream. I thought that they were doing this. Obviously, they're doing it in response to the New York Times list of 100 novels that came out in the last 24 years of the century so far, and that list is ranked. This list is not ranked in order, so they're just sort of presented chronologically. So you can make of it what you will, and so it's from 1924 to 2024 with this list. And there's a ton of great stuff on here, a ton of novels that I love, a ton of novels that I know I'm excited to read, and stuff that I'm really excited to get to. So first up, the first one up here, because it's chronological, is Der Zauberberg, Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. I had suspected that this was going to be number one on the list if it was ranked, because in November it is the 100th anniversary of this novel by Thomas Mann. The story of Hans Castorp in a sanatorium. He goes to a sanitarium and is, there for a long time. It's deeply psychological. Hans Castorp is an iconic bi character. I think it's time for us to recognize Thomas Mann as a bi novelist, and I think this is one of those novels that really delves into the psychology of that. And then also, there's a ton of sort of philosophical and political material in this novel. And if you're interested in that sort of ramp up to the First World War in Europe, there's a lot with Settembrini and other characters who are sort of manifestations of national ideologies and political philosophies. There's also a lot of commentary on medievalism versus Enlightenment here, which is something I talked about with Terra Nostra by Carlos Fuentes. But I also like Der Zauberberg. So Der Spiegel and I agree on this. So I've got at least one of them. I've got a few others here. The second one on the list is Das Schloss by Kafka. I will be doing a video on this next week. I have the Originalfassung from S. Fischer Verlag. I just read this. I really like it if you're into that Isolierung and Alleinsein vibes that Kafka is famous for. There's not much better commentary on isolation and bureaucracy than this novel. I think this novel is really timely for the current moment for a lot of professionals out there. I think the way that K feels when he goes into this Dorf, and Das Schloss won't even engage with him. Wow, there's a lot of feelings here for that. So definitely going to be talking about that in more detail. And then going down, the next one that I had was Perugia by Hans Henny Jahnn, and this is an obscure one. This I was super pleased to see on the list. Hans Henny Jahnn was a real character, and I got this from the Heinrich Heine Verlag, and I was super excited to read it. This is a bizarre novel. I'm really excited, very heavily influenced by James Joyce, and I'm super duper excited to read this. This is going to be up next on my German reading list. I almost read it, but I'm reading Finnegan's Wake right now, so I chose to wait on Perugia. Wir warten hierauf. Bald lesen wir das. Very soon. And then Berlin Alexanderplatz, which I think. Oh, by the way, I wanted to comment on translations. This is translated. I think John Woods probably does it. It's probably pretty good. I haven't read the translation, but I'm sure it's good. I know Kafka has been translated a bunch of different times. Perugia is not, to my knowledge, translated into English, although there is a rumor that Damien Searles, the translator of Uwe Johnson's Jahrestage, is interested in doing a translation of this and is already doing it. Perhaps we'll see something from New York Review of Books or the Dalkey Archive with this. Maybe tag them and tell them that you want a translation of that, because I do think that this is probably Hans Henny Jahnn is a literary figure that I think deserves more fame. In my opinion, you should look him up. Up next on the list that I had was Berlin Alexanderplatz. I love this book. Beautiful interwar social commentary. Beautiful commentary on the worker. And I say beautiful in the artistic sense, not in the uplifting sense, because I think when you read Berlin Alexanderplatz, it is ein schwieriger Text. At least it's very difficult in terms of thematically what's happening in that interwar period. Brutal stuff here, but very good. Also, I'm sure has been translated. Also, there's a famous film of this as well. And Alfred Döblin, and I just did a video on 2666 by Roberto Bolaño. Döblin was quite the influence on Roberto Bolaño. So if you are a Bolaño fan, checking out Berlin Alexanderplatz is probably worthwhile if you can find a translation or read it in the original. Let's see. Up next of what I had was one of the, and this is something that they did here. They did these Juryfavoriten, the jury favorites, which, so there's not an explicit ranking per se, but there's jury favorites here. And Der Mann ohne Eigenschaften made one of them. I have das erste und das zweite Buch here. I believe that is the complete text that I was able to get. And this is one of their jury favorites. It is a massive novel. This one is about 990 pages. 990 Seiten insgesamt. And another sort of interwar period material here. And I would be surprised if the translation of this was bad. I think there's a beloved translation out there of this in the English, and I think it's complete as well. So that is always good, and that it's not shortened at all. So far that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 100 that I have. The next one chronologically that I had was, and I'm seeing, what Walter Benjamin I read a lot in college, but I'm going to get to the near misses later. But the next one was, let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Jahrestage by Uwe Johnson. I've got volumes 2, 3, and 4 here. I'm reading volume 2 right now. Just finished volume 1. I've got all 4 volumes. This, I really like this. I think for those of us who, if you were really interested in Search of Lost Time by Proust, just one of these really large works, definitely in a similar vein, but it has a kind of postmodernist experimental situation going on here. We bounce back and forth between generations a lot, and also it basically takes place every day over a year. 366 Tage insgesamt. This is really cool. It's about 1,300 pages, a little over. I think this one is 1,383. Yeah, 1,300 Seiten, das ist ja ganz viel. I'm reading it book by book, so I'm not reading it totally. This is a work that was translated by Damien Searles, though, just recently, called Anniversaries. It is the complete version. There was an incomplete version of this translated into English, and Damien Searles, for the New York Review of Books, translated the first complete copy, and that's in 2 volumes. So it condenses everything into 2 volumes as opposed to 4, but it is, from what I've heard, the complete text. So that's pretty good stuff. Yeah, and those novels came out over a series of years from the 70s to the 80s. Very ambitious, and I really do like that quite a bit. The next one that I had that has left a good impression on me and is from one of my favorite DDR authors is Kein Ort Nirgends, which is by Christa Wolf. My favorite novel from Christa Wolf is Cassandra, and this is on my to be read list. And this is definitely a philosophically difficult novel. I think its discourse on pain is probably pretty significant. One of the reasons why this is on this list, but I think Christa Wolf is definitely worthy of this list without a doubt. One of my favorite authors to come out of the GDR, and really just a talent at the short novel. If you have not read Cassandra, Der geteilte Himmel, both excellent, and I do believe Christa Wolf was translated pretty significantly into English. The other thing about Christa Wolf, which I'm glad to see that she's included here, is that Christa Wolf was panned after the fall of the wall. This sort of Nach der Wende sort of like philosophy of not liking Eastern German cultural objects anymore, especially because she wrote socialist realist material, and I don't think that Christa Wolf deserved that criticism in the manner in which it was given to her. I think there was a lot of sexism there. Christa Wolf definitely deserves a much higher a much higher place in the contemporary view of German literature, without a doubt, in my opinion. Fantastic work here, and definitely this is going to be one I'm going to be reading soon as well. The next one is, and yeah, we'll get to that in a second. The next one that I was thankful to see is Elfriede Jelinek. I have so much trouble with the J's, guys. Die Klavierspielerin, and this one is a tough psychological read. I read this a long time ago. Definitely worthy of a reread. And I remember this leaving a significant impression upon me. There is also a film of this, and I believe it also translated into English. Jelinek's psychology here is tough, but this is a tragic novel. Definitely, especially with like the Mutter-Tochter Beziehung and how mothers and daughters interact. I think there's a lot to unpack here. Definitely, if you're interested, I believe Jelinek is Austrian. Sie kommt aus Österreich, I think. Yes. So definitely something to think about. Yeah, she grew up in Vienna. Wien. And then the last one that I had here, that is a novel that I have interacted with, is from I'm missing pretty much everything from the 90s and early 2000s, which is definitely a gap in my understanding here. But the next one that I had was Blumenberg. This is a novel that is another short novel that I'm definitely interested in like delving into here. And Levitz Shabrov, I think I've heard a lot of good things about this. I'm not sure if Blumenberg is translated into English or not. It possibly is. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. But this is a little guy. This is a little novel here, and I've been really into the short novels this past year. But yeah, I think Levitchev. I think I've heard a lot of good stuff here about Blumenberg, and this is definitely on my list. So that is the total of everything that I had when it came to the list. Those are the novels that I have interacted with in a meaningful way. So one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine of them. So not bad. I have a lot of gaps, but there were some near misses here that I wanted to point out that I think also are interesting, and I might get the other novel of these folks. The and they I'm gonna try and do them in order here. Um, the first one was from um, Arno Schmidt. So yeah, Arno Schmidt, and this is another one of the Jochen Favoriten. I did not have Kaff auch Meere in Clysium, but I have one of the rarest and strangest novels I have, which is Arno Schmidt's Zetes Traum. You can see this is gigantic. And this is from the S. Fischer Verlag. This was translated into English. I have seen it. It is also huge. And the size of the novel makes it unreadable. And I actually got into words with the folks from S. Fischer Verlag on Twitter years ago about this, pleading with them to publish a smaller version. If you are in Deutschland and you have seen a paperback copy of this, please comment below. Please let me know. I want it very badly. I want them to do it very badly. And selling it in this size is horrible gatekeeping. Ja, das ist unakzeptabel. Das finde ich ganz schlimm, because this is, I think, a really fascinating novel. This is one of those things that I would love to see made more accessible. And I think in the meantime, I will probably get Kaff auch Mache Christian to tie myself over, because I don't know. But if you have seen a smaller version of that, please do let me know. The next one that was a near miss for me is from Elias Canetti. I have heard about Die gerettete Zunge, but I do not have a copy of it. I do, however, have a copy of Die Blendung. And this is also on my to be read pile, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Yeah, I'm a big sucker for really strange novels, and Die Blendung definitely seems like that. Der erste Teil heißt Ein Kopf ohne Welt, zweite Teil Kopflose Welt, und dritte Teil Welt im Kopf. So I'm excited about this, and I'll definitely be adding Die gerettete Zunge to my list as well. And then the penultimate one that I had was Das Treffen in Telgte. I don't have that, and I have seen it before. I haven't read it. I was a little curious to see if Günter Grass was going to make the list, because towards the end of his life, it's controversial that he was a Nazi-Jung and had hidden that for a lot of his life. But he made the list here. I have Die Blechtrommel, classic Günter Grass here, and a really crazy, very magical, very surreal novel that has just a ton going on. And I really enjoyed it. I think this is definitely one of those postmodern pieces that I think really just is strange and has a lot going on. And so I was interested to see Günter Grass made it, because yeah, there was a little controversy there. And then the last one was yes, here we go. Am Beispiel meines Bruders von Uwe Timm. And I have Rot from Uwe Timm. So I have this other, but I have been meaning to explore Uwe Timm's work for quite a while. So I guess there's more materials here that I definitely will be interested in getting to. So those are my near misses. One, two, three, four. So that brings it to 13. So I've experienced 13 of the 100, a little, 13%. It's okay. I definitely have some gaps to fill in here when it comes to what Der Spiegel says is worthy. And the overall, I did enjoy the list. I know I don't super subscribe to the idea of canon, but I lists like this can be sort of fun just to interact with and see what I see them as historical documents, what people are interested in that particular time. But I also see them as a place where I can go and expand my own understanding and learning. And there were a few, 7 items actually, that I was really interested in just going through the list. The first one is Der fromme Tanz from Klaus Mann. I think I really like these 1920s sort of coming out novels that explore queerness, so I was really attracted to this just to see what was going on here, and definitely something that probably is going to be put on my list soon. Living in the United States, getting novels in German can be a little tricksy. I'm not going to lie, but this is definitely up there in terms of what I'm interested in. Especially from that interwar period. The next one that really struck me, I gotta scroll down a bunch here because there's so many. I mean, there's just so much great work here that you can't deny it. Walter Benjamin. I mean, come on, absolutely classic. Um, but the next one that I had that I was very interested in is Der Weg nach Obliadu. Um, yes, I'm really interested in these like DDR Romane. I lived in Brandenburg when I lived in Deutschland, so these DDR perspectives are really interesting to me, and just the way that nach der Wende, after the fall of the wall, we have so many cultural changes there. And this is definitely something that has been on my list as well that I'm very interested in delving into. And I will admit that a lot of the works that I took from this are sort of GDR novels that or focused on or written in the German Democratic Republic that I'm pretty interested in. And I think right now with like the political landscape of Germany, I'm interested in delving into those GDR novels even more. Um, the next one that I was interested in is another sort of DDR book, which is Die neuen Leiden des jungen Werthers, jungen Ws in this case, which has this sort of rewrite, but also there's like queerness and the Eastern German aspect here, and I think this is one of the top 3 that I'm most interested in from the list that I have not experienced before. So this is definitely one that I'm definitely going to be delving into soon. Um, and then immediately afterwards, Franziska Linkerhand. I think that is another novel that is really interesting to me as well. Um, and this there's a few novels that were sort of suppressed and stuff like that. Hier it says the erst seit 1998 liegt das Originalmanuskript vor. And I am interested in those like novels that were suppressed and published later. There's one that I really love that I'm gonna do a video on later. That was written in Russian that was suppressed. That's called Life and Fate by Vasily Grossman. That I think to me is the most important World War II novel out there. But this Franziska Linkerhand is definitely one of those that I was really interested in, and probably going to be soon on my list. Up next was Kleinstadtnovelle. This one I was also really interested in. There's a lot of these coming out novels that I'm interested in here, and this is definitely another one that I've heard of, and I am very excited to engage with, um, because I think there's just a lot going on here with the author themselves, and I am definitely interested in seeing what this novel looks like. Yeah, because yeah, Shanikau uh, definitely seems like to have led a very interesting life, and I think that that might be a very interesting, you know, uh, view here, especially with like how like subcultures and stuff like that interact with this novel. Um, and not that's from the 80s. Then going through here, I'll be honest, a lot of the material from the early 90s, and the 90s in general, didn't strike me, but I'm sure these are fantastic works, but didn't necessarily strike me. Um, and that's okay. I'm sure that I'll be running into them at some point here. The I gotta see here where this next work is, because I want to say I maybe have scrolled. Now here we go. Yeah, not until 2018, and this is a more contemporary one that I was interested in, which is Am Weltenrand sitzen die Menschen und lachen. This sort of huge novel. This is definitely one that I'm super interested in, and there's a lot of material here as well. I think I'll probably hold off on this because it just seems so broad. I'll probably hold off on this until I'm done with Jahrestag, if I'm being honest. But yeah, this is definitely one that was very interesting to me. And then the last one that was very interesting to me, and is maybe the most interesting that I saw from this list, and I was not able to buy this the last time I was in Germany in 2022, but I wish I had. Is Jins by Fatima Aydemir, and this I'm really interested in, just because these I like those contemporary portraits of a family, and Aydemir sounds like a really excellent writer. So I'm definitely interested in that. I At the time when I was there, I had bought Shida Bazia's Drei Kameraden, so I bought this instead, and this was very good as well. But Jins, I think, really does speak to some interest for me. That interaction between Turkish and German culture, and Die Mischung dort is a huge aspect of intersectionality that I think I'm super excited to explore. So yeah, folks, that is a lot of the content from this overall Spiegel list. I am sure that there is a complete list of this on a website like Goodreads or something like that. I don't use Goodreads, but I'm sure that it's there. There's a lot of material that is very interesting. I think one of the things with these lists is that as a historical document, they show what the editors and writers over at Der Spiegel are thinking of and interested in, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best. It is interesting to me that they used the 100th anniversary of Der Zauberberg as sort of the framing here, because why 1924 to 2024 when 1925 to 2025, that on the five might be a little bit more satisfying, but you know Zauberberg is a beloved novel, and of course Thomas Mann's legacy remains important. So overall, very interesting list. I have gone through the New York Times list as well. I thought that was interesting too, but I think if you have a motivated reading practice, I think it's good to look at these lists to just sort of see what gaps you have, and wo kann man lesen, und wen kann man lesen ist eine gute Frage, because there are always directions that you can go, and it's good to sort of see what other folks are reading. I don't super believe in the canon. I don't necessarily think that there's like, oh, you have to read these novels, but if you're interested in them, it's worthwhile. Overall, my biggest hope here is seeing a translation of Perugia into English for folks. And then also seeing a smaller published version of Zettes Traum. I know Zettes Traum did not make the list, but if you are working for S. Fischer Verlag, please make that novel more accessible. I know that you did a lot of work to get it put together, but please make it more accessible. But yeah, overall, I think interesting stuff here. You know, there's a lot of experimentation in the German novel, and it is definitely yeah, outside of like Thomas Mann and Franz Kafka, you know, Elfriede Jelinek is pretty widely known. I think Elfriede Jelinek might have won the Nobel Prize. I'm not sure. I know she won the Georg Büchner Prize, but I'm not sure if she won the Nobel. Um, but there's a lot to delve into there. So definitely something to consider would be taking a look at this list and see, if you're interested. I know Americans like to think that our literature is highly experimental, and the Irish as well definitely take a lot of credit for experimentation. But just in the novels that I've read here, there's a ton of different experimentation and philosophizing in these novels. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely worth your while. And yeah, enjoy. Next week, I will be talking about the Schloss. I'll be talking about the castle from Kafka. So I'll be doing a longer video on that, and I'll get to maybe in November for the 100th anniversary. I'll do a video on Zauberberg on Magic Mountain. As always, folks, thank you so much for watching. Please, I want to hear from you. Post in the comments below. Let me know what your favorite books are that you've seen here. If there's any that you're going to read now that you've seen a little bit of the list. And yeah, as always, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is gbk7288. And you can go to georgekors.com to check out more of my stuff. If you want to read my novel, Always the Wanderer, you have my Eternal Thanks. And I will see you folks next time. See you later.